Now, Ashton Forbes is somewhat fascinating to me because, like no other UFO researcher, I mean, he's so tied to the Malaysia airflight thing, it's hard to call him a UFO researcher or whatever, but you know what I mean. Like nobody else in this field of ufology, of the unknown, the paranormal, UFO, UAP research, whatever, he is holding on to maybe the most and widely debunked incident in the history of ufology. It's like that famous video of the raccoon, right? It's like, here's my piece of evidence. Let me present you my piece of evidence. And it just dissolves the second it's put forward. But no, we try to hang on to it. Where's my evidence gone? I'm going to do a 20-minute video about this evidence that's just been debunked. He is defending these videos, and I'm going to play them here real quick. We're going to dive deeper into them later in this video because, you know, we will have a whole debate about all these arguments that he's making and that debunkers are making. We'll talk about that in the end of this video. These videos allegedly showing the airplane being teleported after a bunch of drones or like little spheres circulate around them, and then with the poof, the object disappears. Now, I believe that Ashton Forbes says that it's not aliens. Maybe he has said that in the past at some point, I don't know. But I think the latest narrative is that it's not aliens, it is some kind of sophisticated government tech that was used here to teleport this plane. This was a commercial airplane, Malaysia air flight, right, mysteriously vanished. And he claims that this is government tech that they have, that they're hiding from us, and they're for whatever reason testing it on this commercial airplane. Here you see the poof. Now the airplane is gone. I don't know where it went. Gotta watch some Ashton Forbes videos to get an idea of that. But we have these two videos. We have one film from above, and we'll get to that later, right? The Gorgon stare thing. We're going to talk about it. And then on the left-hand side, we have this drone footage as well. So we'll break this down in the end of this video. But my point and why I want to make this video today is because just 1 year ago, right, when he's already been called out left and right by the corridor crew at the time, for example, he was still somewhat relaxed about it, right? Sure, he did a response video and he claimed that he's going to activate all the family members of the victims in this incident and then sue corridor crew because here they are telling these incredible stories that all this footage that he believes so much is real is not real. I don't believe that lawsuit ever happened. So he was always a little bit of an angry person. He came across as one, right? I can only speak from his live streams and videos, but it has significantly intensified recently. Now he's going into these rants on his live streams. I mean, look, I go on rants on my live stream, but it kind of takes a slightly different angle and level of intensity, I almost want to say, when it comes to Ashton Forbes. So here he is on his live stream saying what needs to be done if he wants to be proven incorrect. Basically, he's talking about, well, if all these debonkers want to disprove my already widely disproven story, then here's what I need.
Find the person who made the videos or shut the fuck up.
Ooh!
Is that clear? Is that not clear? The only thing you can possibly do on this world to convince anybody those videos are fake is find the person who made them. We've already had one person who's been confirmed to be a scammer, who's been pretending for 1.5 years to have made the videos that convinced half the Redditors that he was the guy.
I love that he says if you want to convince anyone, right? Everyone believes this is real. If you want to convince anyone that this is not real, you got to find the guy who created the footage. It's amazing. It just shows in what bubble he's really living, right? Because I would argue that the vast majority of people have acknowledged the reality of this case. But not Ashton Forbes and not his community, right? I have to assume, they keep doubling down on it, tripling down on it. And if another thing gets exposed and debunked, they just twist the narrative a little bit. And you'll see later, again, we'll get to that later in the video. I just want to get through these rants by Ashton Forbes first. And then we talk about the case itself. So stay tuned for that. Let's keep going.
And he just got exposed as a total fraud last week. And you're coming at me about the videos are fake? Fuck you.
Jeez.
You, man.
Oh, calm down, Ashton, bro. You mad, bro? Why are you so mad? I find this very, very funny, right? He's getting so angry about it. I mean, I get it. Maybe he's just farming clippable moments for his stream or whatnot. I don't know. But it's still freaking hilarious how much he's freaking out because the points that the corridor crew and that many others, right, like Professor Dave Explains, another YouTube channel who made videos about him recently, the points they're making are really good and they're really valid. And he has not explained any of them. Every now and then I do watch an interview with Ashton Forbes or something and I'm always waiting for him to be like, yes, I will address these points of the debate. He doesn't. He briefly addresses it, barely touches it, and then quickly moves on.
Fuck you, man.
Oh God, it's too much for me. But anyway, here he is getting as upset as he does. I hope he's fine. I hope Ashton Forbes is all right and that he doesn't have any blood pressure issues or veins on his forehead imploding. Let's keep watching.
Are you fucking kidding me? I found the guy that leaked the videos. It's fucking over, man. It's over.
This is amazing. It is amazing because he's like, I imagine him standing in this huge archive where all the stuff that debunks his theories are all around him, right? It's all there, but he doesn't open these folders. We're not really looking at it. It's like, some evidence about a plane going over a reticle that should be etched into a lens, or an explosion effect that actually turned out to be stock footage. No, we're not looking at this. It's over, guys. It's over, because I found the guy who leaked the footage. I found the guy who confirmed to me that he leaked the footage, while obviously Redditors taking a guy serious who claimed that he faked the footage is completely ridiculous. Because who would trust someone who just gives you your word and provides no evidence? But I found the guy who leaked the footage. He claimed it at least. Oh God, dude, the absurdity of this, man.
There's no debates about the videos being real. You're either a fucking retard who can't tell the videos are real, or you realize they are and you're trying to push us forward to the next level. There's no questioning whether the videos are real. Everything's already been confirmed. The only thing to happen now is for the government to admit to it. That's it. That's it, man.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It is, I swear to God, man. It is like a Saturday Night Live skit or something. It's like a joke. It's a parody. It's so far beyond anything that's reasonable, in my opinion. I've never seen anyone holding on so hard to anything. And now it seems like he reaches the stage where it gets into heavy bitterness. He's angry. He's bitter about people not believing him and still questioning this footage because in his mind it's totally real. And people are just mean. People are just little meanies for treating him that way.
So when you make stupid shit about me, just realize you don't.
Bro, swearing so much. I'm sorry, there's gonna be so many sound mutes going on in this video because Ashton Forbes is swearing a lot. Look, man, you gotta keep your vocabulary together, bro. Okay? This is a family entertainment show.
You don't realize how fucking dumb you look in the future. You don't realize that you're making the biggest mistake ever. I keep telling you over and over and over, and you don't fucking listen.
The biggest mistake ever. The irony, right? The irony of him sitting here defending this thing that is clearly falling apart in front of our eyes for a year, for more than a year now. All the evidence has been out there that shreds it to pieces, and he holds on to it. And then he has the audacity to say he's making the biggest mistake of his life. It's remarkable. All this is gold. It's remarkable, dude. You know, this is ultimately, and let me kind of go on a tangent here. I used to love ufology for the documentaries, for the stories, for people like Bob Lazar, right? I loved ufology for that, for the mythicism, and maybe, just maybe there's something to it. Maybe aliens have been here, and some of these clips are real. Maybe government, whatever. Now I love ufology for stuff like this, okay? Now I love ufology for Ashton Forbes losing his mind over really wanting it to be real. It's gotta be real. I don't even want to debate anymore if it's real, right? It's the thing of beauty, or, you know, whether you have Lou Elizondo calling Dr. Stephen Greer, what did he call him? I think he said he's not negotiating with terrorists or something regarding his Dr. Stephen Greer. And then Greer came back and said that Louis Elizondo is a misinformation person, something like that. I'm paraphrasing here, but beautiful. This stuff is beautiful. So the world of ufology has really moved past the facts, the stories, the UFOs, S4, physical installations, and stories of alleged incidents that ever happened. And now it's just drama between these characters and them getting upset because they get debunked. And it's become this drama circle. I don't know about you guys. I love it. Let's keep watching.
I'm not fucking with you. This is real life. That video is real. Your life is a fucking lie. Your whole life is a lie. Your parents' lives were a lie. Everything on this earth is a lie. Welcome to Earth.
Damn, bro.
Jesus, man.
Was that an Independence Day reference? The Welcome to Earth one there? Oh God. This is too much for me. I swear to God, this is too much. Unbelievable. The sip of the Forbes cup, bro.
Oh, just felt like some of you needed a reality check.
He's such a professional, bro.
Y'all are here on YouTube thinking you're playing a fucking game. This isn't a game.
Absolutely awesome. Okay, maybe the best clip of the year. I can only really hope that Ashton Forbes has more of these moments on Livestream, because then I will do videos about them, and it's just beautiful. It's beautiful. But that's not the only clip that we got from Ashton Forbes recently, where he said some things that, I don't know, are maybe somewhat questionable. Now, let me play you this clip.
So at a bare minimum, I'm going to psychologically destroy the Debonkers, as we would refer to them.
Sorry.
If things go better than that, then hopefully we'll get some guillotines for some of these politicians.
Oh my God. So I kind of had to mute that word there, probably just for the context of YouTube. But he was asking for a French invention that was used a lot during the French Revolution. Let's just put it this way. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but for that invention to be used on politicians. That's what he just said. I don't know, what platform is he streaming on? Is this okay on Twitch to call for things like that? I don't think on YouTube you can go out and say something like that, like convincingly, and try to get people to buy into something like that. I'll leave that down in the comment section below. But that's, you know, here he is calling for politicians. Anyway, let's keep moving.
People in the know who've been knowingly hiding this technology for decades. Decades and decades. People that are high on my list of suspects are people like Chuck Schumer, Marco Rubio, Senator Rounds, people that I've just seen with my own eyes, that they're on email chains that explain this technology, explain what happened to MH370. That's good enough for me personally. But I understand the public would want more stuff that ties them to that.
No, what I would really like is that you actually address the points that the debunkers make in excruciating detail. That's what I would love. If you make a 1-hour video where you go through each single point and in detail explain how that happened, ideally with a fact checker, making sure that what he says is accurate, okay? Because often it's like, I don't know, no wreckage has been found. Yes, wreckage has been found. You can't make these claims and say, well, the wreckage theory has been debunkered because nobody ever found any wreckage. Full stop. It's like, no, that is misinformation. That is not true. Wreckage with serial numbers has been found. It's just one example, but it's like you can't get away with making claims like that. But before we dive into that in a bit more depth, let's look at this final clip. It is just 40 seconds of Ashton saying funny things on stream. Let's go.
Prison for the rest of their lives. They know that the public will crucify them for what they've done. They know it. They know it, man. There's no forgiveness when you are like pervasively brainwashing all of humanity and hiding teleportation and free energy. When the public finds out about that, there's no forgiveness.
The irony, right? It comes back to the other thing that he said earlier as well, where he describes pretty much exactly what he's doing and the position that he is in, but projects it on other people. It's like there will be no forgiveness for these people who mislead the public or the world, I think he said, with misinformation and like misleading theories about something so important like this. It's like, bro, what? The obliviousness to the whole thing is just staggering. It's fascinating to me.
Like I said before, just like when the people were attacking me, there's no forgiveness. There's no happy ending to this story, guys.
Uh-oh.
The ending of this story, if it goes the way we want it to go, is a lot of people being executed for crimes against humanity. A lot of people.
So I probably had to, I didn't even know that he says this. I probably had to take this word out again. So what he says is that probably a lot of people will be unalived by the government or some entity because they lied for these lies. So he's calling for these. I mean, bro, we're talking about an alleged UFO video here. I feel it's getting a little bit out of hand. It's reaching proportions where we're calling for like the unaliving of people, and it's like, can we like all just take it back one notch? Can we take it? Like, it's nice to debate, and listen, Ashton, I respect it. You think the stuff is real, and maybe I haven't heard all of your arguments. I think the stuff is not real. I've heard the arguments that for me debunk it 100%. But different opinions are fine, right? We don't need to start calling for things like that publicly, in my opinion. So I would just like cool it all down a little bit in general, right? Like your blood pressure, calm down. Everything is cool. People have differing opinions. You have yours, we have ours. Everyone, let's cool it down a notch. But this is the segment where I will talk about the actual allegations, the actual points that debunk this footage. And I have done a video about this before, so if you're really just interested in seeing the full breakdown with visual references of why this is nonsense, and I think it's much more in-depth, the video that I've done, than what I'm going to do now, then click the link in the description, okay? I'll link the video down there so you can check it out yourself. It is more of an in-depth debunk of the whole story, so what I'm going to do here today now is a speed run of this. I'm not going to go into every single point in depth, but again, if you want to dive deeper, you can either Google the point, you find all of it well documented on the internet, or you go over to my video. There I show more references and I take a minute or two for each of these points to really make them clear. But let's go. Here are some of the arguments that, in my opinion, make the Malaysia 370 flight mystery one of the most and extensively debunked cases in the world of whatever you want to call it, ufology. Let's start with this alleged infrared drone footage, okay? So, first of all, the footage was filmed with a camera that's clearly mounted under the wing, right? Camera's mounted here under this wing. You see the snout of the drone there on the left, or the nose, whatever you call it, on the left-hand side. That's not a thing. We don't mount cameras like that under wings on this specific drone that this was taken off. These types of drones do not have cameras mounted under their wings. The cameras are mounted under the front here, under the nose. We've seen it before. It looks a little bit like this, right? It's a camera that sits under the... And the reason why they put it there is very obvious, especially when you look at this footage. You put it under the nose because you want full screen footage of whatever you're filming. If you're flying some reconnaissance mission somewhere over Iraq, China, or Russia or whatever, you don't want to have 10% of the screen being obstructed with the wing up here and part of the nose. This could hide crucial details. If you're military, you want a full-fledged, full-screen shot of the footage and not part of it being obstructed. So that in and of itself already doesn't make sense. Also, the drone itself, and I've never seen Ashton Forbes address this, at least in a reasonable way, has clear angles here. Do you see this? There's a line, there's a straight line, there's a straight line, there's a straight line, and then a little one down here. So it's actually not perfectly round, when the nose of actual drones is obviously perfectly round. You'll never find this kind of stacked straight line pattern on an actual drone, no matter what drone it is. These are perfectly round, perfectly curved shapes. So why do you get that kind of stacked effect there with the straight lines? It's because it's a polygon. It is a little bit like what you see here. And again, go back, check my other video. I'm giving you an actual reference to the actual drone, show you a 3D model of the actual drone and reference it to the actual picture. It's a perfect match, right? But you can see here, it's a low poly model of a similar drone. And you go into low polygons, so it turns these surfaces into little straight lines, right? It's not a perfect curvature. It has straight lines, and that's exactly the effect that we're seeing here on the left-hand side, and that is because it's a 3D model. It's not real. It's actually a low-polygon 3D model. It's a mistake that the person who put this together made. He could have just put like a mesh smoother over it or something that turns those 5, 6, 7 polygons you see here into 200 of them, and it smoothes the mesh. Didn't do that, so that's why we now have these sharp corners. So it's not looking good. And then, I mean, Corridor Crew made this point as well. You can see very clearly the contrails here, right? The contrails that the plane is leaving behind. In fact, the drone flies really close underneath them, and you get this like this little overlap effect here on the left-hand side. This is all broken down in the Corridor Crew video very well. Point being, these contrails would not be visible the way they are here in thermal footage. It's an effect. It's a 3D effect. And I love this, by the way. Every time I see Ashton Forbes saying like, oh my god, it's real dynamics. The orbs are manipulating the mist of the clouds and the smoke trail that the plane pulls behind it. It's like, yeah, dude, if you have like physics simulators in your 3D software, of course it does that. What do you mean? If you have a cloud, a trail of smoke generated in a 3D software, and it is a dynamic trail of smoke, and then you pull a sphere through it, sure, it will impact, if you get the settings right, it will impact the smoke. It's not something that's like incredibly hard to fake. If you're a CGI artist and you know how this kind of stuff works, you can fake that fairly easy, I would say. But anyway, so all these smoke trails, all these contrails you see here that the orbs as well as the plane are pulling behind should not be visible. It's just plain wrong. It's not how infrared cameras work. Then the plane in the video, and I think I showed this in the previous video, goes over a reticle, right? So these reticles are these little positional crosses or whatever that you see here that are etched into the screen. They're basically sitting on the lens itself, right? There's no end space. So you have these reticles everywhere. They're actually like corner pieces. They're not crosses, but they're corner pieces that frame the shot kind of. And you can clearly see that the object goes over the reticle, which should be impossible, right? Now, it could be a glitch, it could be whatever it is, but it clearly goes. You see this? It masks off the reticle here. That's not normal. That should never happen. At least at the bottom there, you should see the reticle protruding into the object. And then in the object, maybe it would be overwhelmed by the brightness of it or whatever. And then but it's still, it doesn't make sense. The way it looks here, it looks like a masked object, a 3D object being rendered over something else. Again, this feels like a mistake that the guy who rendered it made. She could have probably fixed it, but it somehow stayed in the footage. And now it's being exposed by people, and that doesn't even cover the biggest red flag about this footage, which is that the poof, the actual visible explosion, the one you just saw here, is a stock effect. Okay, it's a stock video asset that you can download, and again, it's been exposed more than a year ago by the Corridor crew. Here's their video, and you can clearly see right on the left hand side is the screen grab of the Ashton Forbes Malaysia video, and then on the right hand side you see this special effect. And dude, there's just no arguing, right? Like, anyone who has a genuine interest in finding some form of truth in this narrative, in this story, should look at this and be like, yeah, okay, dude, this is undeniable. It's the same thing, but not Ashton Forbes. And I want to play this little clip for you again. Corridor crew played in their video as well. This is literally from their video, but this is amazing, right? Because this one guy, this guy you see here, I'm sorry, I don't know his name, but this one guy from Corridor crew, he got invited by the Danny Jones podcast to explain what we see here, right? And he referenced this stock video asset and said, yeah, it's the stock video asset plus 6, 7 other points that debunk this footage. This is how Ashton Forbes responded to that.
So as a statement of fact, those do not match.
Dude, it is exact.
This is like saying that my butthole is your butthole because they're similar, right? It's not, we don't have the same butthole because of that.
Dude! Oh, God! Oh, my God. What do you say in a moment like this? I mean, even the host, this Danny Jones guy, he is flabbergasted, right? He's sitting there like, in disbelief. This guy sits there, you show him 2 clearly identical images, or at least one image is based on the other one, on the other asset. It's identical. And he sits there with a serious face and says, no, these images are not identical. And then he gives this weird lower end example there as well. Bro, this level of denial, dude. I mean, where does denial end and delusion begin? I don't know. But looking at this kind of footage, dude, it just leaves me in disbelief. I don't know what to make. This is wild. This is not normal. This is not normal, okay? And I want you to leave me a comment underneath telling me, what do you think why Ashton Forbes is doing this? Is he, there's a few options here. Is he just not bright enough to understand? Possible. I don't know. Does he intentionally deny it? So he knows it's true. He can see it's the same picture, but he intentionally denies it. And why then? What is it? Is it just because that's basically what his brand is based on? That Malaysia Air flight is what he's building everything around. So if you would deny the authenticity of it, well, I don't know. Leave me your thoughts on this down in the comment section below. But let me tell you, in a minute, I'm going to show you a tweet by Ashton Forbes where he acknowledges that some of these debunks are legit and that he should question his thinking a little bit. I'll show you that tweet in a minute, okay? But let's get to the second video, which is this so-called Gorgon stare video, okay? If you don't know what Gorgon stare is, I don't judge you, right? But it is a surveillance device, I guess, that the military uses, that is a big cluster of cameras that film miles and miles of land live with 6 frames per second in real time. So if you're sitting in some kind of military operational center, you can monitor miles and miles of land at one time and see everything that happens. So allegedly, that's how this footage was captured. Well, as you probably know, and as it was highlighted many times before, the clouds don't move. And it's not that they don't move a little bit, they don't move at all, which is not good, because clouds, especially if you're that kind of close to them, do move more than you would see it here. However, it's even worse than that, because shortly after this footage was released, people found out that the clouds, as was the explosion in the previous video we looked at, are actually found on a stock footage database. These clouds that you see here are stock photos. And again, I'm breaking this down in much more detail in my other video, but here's just a few examples of the patterns that they found in the clouds in this video that are clearly from stock footage packages that you can download at the time from textures.com. And all too often you get this argument from people like Ashton Forbes and believers in this footage that they say, well, at the time when this footage was released, these images were not on textures.com at all. They weren't available on stock footage platforms. So hence, It can't be real. And it's like, no, hold on a second. You're making a huge logical leap here. These images, what we see here in this footage, everything I just showed you, right? These images, there's more. You can just Google it. If you Google Malaysia air flight and cloud patterns, there's like extensive examples of all these images tracking it down. It is a perfect match. Just as we previously looked at this explosion, it is a perfect match. And let me tell you something. It doesn't matter if these images were on that specific photo stock database at that time. The images are identical. And that means one thing and one thing only. And that is that the person who created this video used these images as a backdrop. That's it. That's it. I don't care if they were on that database at the time or that dude got his hands on these images and used him in this film. And whether he got them off a torrent platform at the time, or whether a friend of his gave him a stock photo DVD, you know, that you share amongst friends in the design world or whatever, stuff like this happens. Wherever he got it from is almost irrelevant. The point is, these images are a perfect match, and you simply cannot deny that these images at least seriously pull the credibility of this particular footage into question, right? So the first film, the drone footage, we already debunked with like 7-8 different points. All of them, in my opinion, very valid points, right? It's not just, oh, here's 1 point, that's why it's probably CGI. No, it's like 6-7 points. Now, the second footage that allegedly shows the same thing, Gorgon stare military footage, all very mysterious. Stock images, dude. It's falling apart. And at the time, I mean, I found an image of this tweet, okay? I don't know if this is a real tweet. Found it on Reddit. It is a post that is more than a year old. Roughly matches the time when Corridor Crew came out with the exposure and saying, it's a static image. The background is a static stock image, hence the footage is fake. Ashton Forbes issued this tweet here. And again, I can only assume it's real. If it's not, I'm happy to remove this segment later on, okay? I haven't seen the tweet myself. But for now, let's assume he really said that at the time. If he didn't, again, leave a comment underneath. I'm happy to remove and trim the segment out, but let's assume it's real. So Ashton Forbes said, I've spoken with Kim.com and I respect his advice. After having reviewed the large image myself, I'm prepared to make the following statement. The cloud images seem to be too close of a match to be a coincidence. As a rational and logical person, I do not have a way to explain their matching in such a high degree. After talking with Jonas, I don't believe him to have any malintent. I can no longer claim that the videos are authentic due to this evidence. Kim has agreed to make a payment to Jonas for supplying the assets that may have been used to fabricate the satellite video. Since no hoaxer has come forward and Jonas admitted they did not hoax the videos, the bounty conditions have not been met, so the $150,000 will go unpaid, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so apparently there was like a bounty out there at the time to find the person who made the video. So, guys, look, man, I don't know what you think, but looking at Ashton Forbes crashing out on his live stream there and freaking out, like getting so emotionally involved and upset about people just pointing out facts, right? People are like, what about this? He gets so angry. We're not debating this anymore. He never addresses the points directly, as he just did in this tweet that I just read, right? There, at least he addresses the point, and he's like, this is a perfect match. I cannot deny this. At least say this. Again, I have to assume this tweet has been deleted in the meantime. But instead, he's always like, no, we're moving on. What about the footage? It's 6 FPS, and the Gorgon stare device records with 6 FPS, and then there's a cursor over the screen. And that's like 27 or 24 FPS like it regularly would. And oh my God, and we're trying to read 16 layers into these mysteries and play like 4D chess when the obvious truth is right in front of us on the table. The images have been taken from a stock database or shared. This is stock footage. It's a still image. We cannot talk about 6 frames per second and Gorgon stare devices as long as we haven't conclusively and reasonably explained the challenges with the footage. And what I've presented to you guys now is not even everything. There's so much more. I really recommend you guys, if you're interested in the story, check out the Corridor Crew video. Check out Professor Dave Explains channel. He did videos about Ashton Forbes that go into way much more detail. I mean, even just the theory that nobody really talks about. Nobody gives a real explanation, as far as I'm aware, why the government would test this mysterious teleportation zero gravity energy device or whatever it is on a passenger plane, like a commercial airliner with 200 plus passengers inside. Why? How does it link to the pilot turning around mid-flight, flying into a completely different direction? Plus, we found pieces of the wreckage. I addressed that a bit earlier in the video, but like we have pieces of the wreckage. And then often people who believe in the story, they're like, no, it's not pieces of the wreckage. Then you show them the serial number. It's like, here's the serial number on the piece of wreckage. It's like, oh, okay, maybe it is a piece of the wreckage, but it's been flushed on a coast where it makes no sense then you show them the currents and, you know, show them examples where like geologists and people who know this stuff explain that it's very likely, in fact, perfectly reasonable that they get washed up on the shores where they got washed up on. Yeah, but maybe it is a piece from the plane and maybe it did get washed up, but and it's always another thing, right? We're always extrapolating the next 4D chess piece that then kind of confirms our narrative rather than trying to actually find out the truth. That's how it feels to me. But guys, leave me your thoughts on all this down in the comment section below. I'll keep an eye on the Ashton Forbes story. I'm sure there will be more to it going forward. This is my quick, I mean, it's been a long time now, but way too long, this video. But this is my as quick as possible rundown of the Ashton Forbes drama, of the debunkers' points. And again, there are so many more if you dive into it that speak against Ashton Forbes' theory around Malaysia Air Flight 370. But guys, it's my take. Leave your take down in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, consider joining our Discord. The link to that is in the description. It's a wonderful community. I'm hanging out there. Many other people are as well. So join the Discord, maybe become a member on the channel. Check the merch in the description, brand new merch. It's happening. Thanks for watching. I appreciate your time. I'll see you in the next one. And I'm out. Bye.